This is a talking head video about the current state of the market, dealerships, rates, fuel, and yeah, just kind of what we're doing to try and survive it. Hope you like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. Thank you. Bye bye. How's it going there? I hope you're all doing well and managing to pay your fuel bill and pay fuel prices on no margins. It's a difficult time. I was talking to one of my friends in Stoke, my friend Paul there, who's got a bunch of coaches down there. He's telling me that the fuel price has gone down a little bit. And I noticed here it's went down 4 cents, and then the oil fuel it's gone down 10 cents. But my goodness, it's got a long way to go. This pickup here, almost 3 years ago, I remember driving from Texas down to Mississippi, and I couldn't get $60 in the fuel tank. It's a big tank. Now it's $140 to fill it. Change, you say. The rates are, you know, they were good, but now they're back down. But how you survive this? So those of us who are old enough have run for $1.10 a mile and paid $4 a gallon for the fuel. Not pleasant times. Some survive, some don't, but right now, amidst all this, I think if you can survive it, it'll weed out a lot of people, and if you know what you're doing, you should hopefully get through it. If you're losing money every week and you don't do things to change that, or come up with a different plan, or try to eliminate some of your debt to try and pay your trailer off, or try and pay your truck off, or so that you can, you know, cut your overheads, or maybe go into some different work that's paying better. But if you're doing the long haul like we were down to Florida, game's a bogey, as they say at home. Those margins are just not that great. So say I'm quite fortunate at the minute that my son's got that in that MBA program at BYU, and he's almost finished his law degree. Jeff, the dispatcher that's involved with us up in Idaho, he's sharp and pushing for every dime we can get on a load. Hard negotiator, tough guy on the phone. If you just take what people are offering you, you know, you can't leave anything on the table anymore. You need every $100 or $200 that you can stick on the top of a load. But with the three of us doing this, we're managing to. Tommy gave me some management accounts. Really, you know, went through. We discussed it on the phone at length. How much a truck is making and how much a truck's losing, and margins are tight, make no bones about it. So when you've got that information though at your fingertips, so if you're going to plan and get through this, you really need to be on the ball with your numbers. If you think that running for $2 a mile and paying this $6 fuel is going to get you through, and hopefully it changes soon. Hopefully it does change soon, but if you've got information at your fingertips that you can make decisions on, I think you're better equipped to survive this. So we had a situation this week. We were running 8 over the road, and with 2 more coming on and 2 in the oil field, so we're effectively running 12 at the minute. And they're not all mine, they were good guys leased on to us. So but we've decided that although the oil field can be a bit inconsistent, the trailers are less, and so we've decided we took on some rental trailers when the market was high, didn't buy them, took them on a rental basis so that if this did come, because if you've been around long enough, you know that it does the old cycles, you know. This cycle's a bit strange because usually when the fuel goes up, the rates follow it, you know, and then when the fuel goes down, the rates might still be going up, then eventually they come down, and so it kind of tracks. But I don't know what's happening this time. There's a lot of speculation that, oh, it's because of what's going on over there in Ukraine and Russia and all that, that's driving the price of oil high. But in my mind, there's still the same amount of oil out there getting made, pumped, sucked out the ground. Still the same consumption. Just as a wally sitting, an idiot sitting here talking about it, it seems like if there's the same amount of oil and there's probably less demand now because there's people going out of business, there's less freight available, so the price of fuel should be low. But I think it is probably artificially high, and people are making back the money that they lost back in the day when the world was shut down, you know. They don't have to make it all at once, surely to goodness, you know. But back to the thing with the trailers. We had these trailers that we took at the height of the market with the thought that if the market goes down, let's just give them back, go do something else. So this week we made that decision. Probably Wednesday we decided to get rid of 4 of the trailers and send 4 trucks to the oil field. So we'll have 6 down there and 6 running over the road, and that should give us a better balance. The oil field, yes, it is unpredictable, it's all get out, but you don't have any dead miles, okay? So, and there's a fuel escalator there with the people that we're working for, so you see us, we'll go down there and the fuel will go down and we'll make less, but it all balances out. But you don't have any dead miles. You know, we took a load, just give you some numbers here, we took a load from Oklahoma City up to Great Falls, Montana, paid $6,300 on a flatbed. Flatbeds are doing not too bad, but that's $4.50 a mile, but there was nothing up there coming down, so we've got to run all the way back here, and it cost us $650 in fuel to get from Montana to here. Ordinarily that would be a cost that you would not even think about. Just get to the next load, you know. No point sitting around wasting time and money, because time is the money in the trucks. But we're putting 4 down there, an extra 4 down, so that'll give us 6. But everybody that we speak to, these suppliers, these I shouldn't say arrogant, that's the wrong word, but when the market's high, people are saying, well, put a deposit down and we'll try and find you a truck, and we'll give you one of the ones that come in. And the trailer people are saying, we'll call you if one's available, but you need to take it right away and pay your money on it straight away and take it right away, whether you've got a truck or not. And so you're ending up paying, maybe a few months ago you ended up paying money for a truck and you haven't got a trailer, or you're paying money for a trailer and you don't have a truck yet, which is kind of unheard of before, because you could always go get a trailer, go get your truck, then drive into a trailer place a few days later and buy the truck, then go get the trailer right away. But they weren't there, they were not available. So when you see 15-year-old Wabash dry vans for $35,000, you know, they weren't that new, and they were crap when they were built, but that's just the way it went. So everybody that we speak to, we took 3 back on Friday. Made the decision on Wednesday to do this, position trucks and trailers, swap guys around with the ones that we own, and then to get rid of the rental ones. And we've got one more that's going back on Wednesday. And then when you're telling people, hey, we'd like to, we don't need these trailers, it's not working. Oh, can you make sure, you are going to bring them back, right? Yeah. And then we spoke to the couple of truck dealers that we work with, and we've got some leases with some of them, and they were saying, well, don't be hasty, we'll work with you on it. Be sure not to just abandon it and bring it back, and get your deposits here, and we'd like to work with you. And and then 2 months ago they were saying, send us $3,000. We don't have a truck. We're not going to take an application. We're not going to even entertain you. Send us $3,000, and then we might think about getting your truck if one comes in. So they'll send me 60 deposits or 70 deposits down there at some times, waiting for trucks to come into their dealership, and you couldn't, it's just a weird time. But now the worm is turning, and people who were, see, in business you got to have a good memory, right? So when people treat you that way, and it starts to come back round, the shoe gets in the other foot. There's an expression that I remember from Scotland. It says, be careful whose backside you're kicking today, because you might have to kiss it tomorrow. And that appears to be coming around if you've got the wherewithal to survive this and get through it. There will be good opportunities on the other side, because as far as I'm concerned, when it's a high market and everybody and their granny is running to get a truck because, get a truck, it's all, and it's just blind stupidity for some of them. I know guys that are going out paying over 200 grand right now for a truck, well they were, and 125,000 for a reefer unit. How's that working out for you now? 3 trucks, you're $1 million in debt, you ain't paying that back. That's just it's not there. The numbers just don't work for that. So not only that, your insurance is mega high, and these trailers that we rented, that was another issue. They were all freaking brand new, and we had to insure them for $120,000. So that you add that on to your already probably $700 by the time you add on the mileage fee for the trailer, because they put a hub meter on it, and then the hour rate for the reefer unit. It just becomes, you're better part of a $800-900 a week for a trailer, and then some guys are over $1,000 a week for a truck. So you have $2,000 there that you've got to make profit before you pay you. And I've said this before, I remember when we had some nice coaches in Scotland, and you look out in the summertime when it was quiet and the schools were off, and you look out at the yard, you think, I own this coach, and I own that coach, and I own this truck and all that. Well, that's all good and well if you actually do own them, but if you've got finance on them, you look out the window or you walk past them, and I'm not a nutcase here by thinking, but I used to think that you'd be walking past them coaches and or trucks, and they're saying to you, I know I haven't done anything this week, but this month run on down to the bank and pay for me, because I own you. When you've got finance and equipment and it goes like this, the equipment owns you. I had this in 2008 when the market went down, and we had a large rail company take out bankruptcy on us, owing us over 100 grand, and that was bad enough, but that wasn't the bad thing. The bad thing was that we couldn't get rid of the equipment because nobody could borrow any money to buy it off you, and the assets went down, and that's coming right now. Very strange times, but there's more opportunity in a down market than there is in a high market. So if you can get through this, get to the other side, you've got it made, I think. If you can get through your equipment, keep paying your equipment, keep that as much as you can. We've decided to camp out in the oil field with 4 more vehicles, and give us a bit more diversity, spread the eggs a little bit. We've got the flatbeds doing well, Justin pulls that, and it does all right. It washes its face, and we get a bit of profit off of it. Some of the reefer stuff, we're having to rework that, decide where we're going, how far the loads are going to be, and all that, so. But strange times. But the worm, it is a turning, when all these people that were arrogantly or blasé jacking up the prices of their trucks, there were trucks being sold for 150 grand 2 months ago that you wouldn't have given 60,000 for 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So it used to be that when it got to be a truck hit 500,000 miles, it's a $50,000 truck, maybe 60. But for those to be at 140 and 150, that's just profiteering, I suppose. But they've got everybody jumped in the bandwagon, and now the bandwagon's going to go the other way, because I know dealers that have pre-ordered trailers, paid big money for them. Now when they go to sell them, are they going to get that money back? I don't think so, when the market is stopping and going a bit stagnant at the minute. But we will survive this. We've got a few trucks that are paid off, some with low payments on them. The trailers that we're pulling are almost paid off, and so if we duck into the oil field now, with some of them, get our reefers paid off, we will survive this, But my heart goes out to you if you jumped into this game and thought you were going to kill the fatted calf. Loads going to New York, we're 5 figures. I bet you there's not even a 5-figure load on the boards right now. Paul's running our load from Alabama up to Oregon, Portland maybe, for 7 grand. Like that one going back down for 7.5. That sounds like great money, but it's $6 a gallon, and then you get into that East Coast fuel. Doesn't happen. I spoke to a friend of mine a couple of days ago who was telling me he runs out of California. Good money coming out of California, but fuel going in, even if you fuel up in Nevada or something like that, I don't want to tell the guy's name because he's a really nice guy and a very good operator, but it's back to the way it used to be. We'll take a cheap load in to get a good load out, but when you run from Salt Lake area into California for $650, there's only one person winning out of that, and I can guarantee you it's not the shipper and it's not the trucking company. It is most probably the broker. They probably priced this work 6 months ago. They're sitting on the contract. They know that freight's going down. There's no way that they've bid that for $650. I can tell you that. They'll be making a killing out of the trucks going down there right now, an absolute killing. And I think that's what it is. Just the way the patterns seem to go when the freight rates go down. Contracted freight that the brokers have, they just keep getting the same money, and then they keep paying us less and less and less because they know we've got to get somewhere to get another load. So, but that's about that. We're doing all right. There's a lot of folk that ain't going to make it, and they reckon that the next month there are going to be 76,000 owner-operators go to the ball, which is quite sad because for us, we've been doing this for just over 3 years, since we set up and went to the oil field, and there's a lot of work went into that, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of miles been covered by a lot of people. We've got a good little management team in this company now. We've got some really good drivers that are, they're family to us, and we want to make sure this works for them. So I think we'll do it. We'll pull it off. Hopefully things don't go squonky in the oil field. That'll be the next thing you watch. We'll need to go back and get trailers, but I think if we go back and get trailers, we'll get them for less money. That's how I ended up with the first trailers I've got. This happened 2 years ago. It took a nosedive in January and February, and I took the trailers back, and they were only rented, and they said, well, we'll let you do them on the lease purchase and charge you no money, less money for them. So that's how we ended up with those. But yeah, strange times. I hope you make it, whatever you're doing. I hope the fuel comes down and the rates go up. That's the trucking operators. That's their dream, eh? So thanks for watching this. If you haven't subscribed, I'd be glad if you did. Okay, thanks for watching. See ya.